Hello and welcome to Silvertone for round 6 of the Dunlop Endurance Championship. We come back to the circuit where Nigel Moore and Phil Hansen opened their account at the start of the season with a race victory. They opened a few eyes that day, but it turned out to be the start of a very promising year for the pair, because they've since gone on to notch up another 3 race victories. So it's the Tockwith Motorsports pair that lead the standings, but the championship is far from over because Steve Fressel and Jacob Mathiasen in the Century Motorsport Ginetta keep on winning Class 3, and that puts them within just 7 points of the championship lead. So as we go into the last few races of the season, the result here today at Silverstone will be absolutely critical.
Definitely has gone lots better than I hoped. It's a learning year for me in the GT car and a rear-wheel drive car as well. So yeah, quite happy with the results until now.
And really you're racing against, for the championship, Tockwith Motorsports with the Audi, but you're in a different class to them, so you sort of watch what they do, but you've just got to do your own job, haven't you?
Yeah, we can't do actually anything about the speed to try to catch them, so yeah, try to do ours and then we have their race and yeah, see what came out at the end of the race weekend.
It's your first full season with the team and in the car and in the championship. Do you look back now at where you were 6 months ago and do you feel like you've improved?
Yeah, I mean the team's brought me on really well in the last, especially like 6 months. We started with no experience in the car, and now from karting we moved straight into the cars, and it's worked pretty well up to now. I mean, we were just looking at the most realistic career opportunities, and Nigel was out of a drive that year, so it worked really well. My team manager knew the team manager of this team, so that's how the connection grew. And I get on really well with Nigel, so it's a quite good pairing.
Following an early morning free practice session, the teams went into 30 minutes of qualifying, where the Whitebridge Motorsport pairing of Johnny Cocker and Chris Murphy broke into the top 8 with their Aston Martin Vantage. Just 4/10 quicker were their Class 3 rivals, Century Motorsport, Jacob Mathiasen and Steve Fressel topping the category and finishing a credible 7th overall. After missing 2 rounds with a gearbox rebuild, Mark and Peter Cunningham's SG Racing Porsche, now a Class 2 car, was back and 6th fastest. Ben Sharridge was making his Britcar debut with Mac G Racing, partnering team leader Johnny McGregor, the squad's self-built Tyrannus securing 5th place on the grid. Meanwhile, the second row would be an all-Ferrari affair, with former production saloon car champion Leighton Clark and teammate Simon Atkinson setting the 4th fastest time of the session in their 4.58 challenge, while their FF Course teammates and Class 2 rivals Charlie Hollings and Bonamy Grimes topped the category in 3rd spot overall. For a while it looked like the championship leaders, Tockwith Motorsports, would be starting from pole, but Nigel Moore and Phil Hansen had to settle for 2nd on the grid when the FF Course Ferrari of Callum Lockie and David Mason put in a flying lap late on to claim pole position by just under half a second. And a great racing prospect with just 0.8 of a second covering the top 3. The international circuit seems to be keeping everybody pretty close together.
It's quite a short circuit and fairly busy, so yes, everybody certainly in this class seems fairly close together, and being so small, there's not much room to get away. So yeah, it's going to be fun, busy, I think.
Talk us around the lap. Where are the critical points here?
Well, most of it's regular corners that we all know very well. The only odd bit is the link through out onto sort of Chapel Hanger Straight, which none of us know at all. So it's going to make it up as you go along. We're all wondering whether we were exceeding track limits going around there because we're all on the outside of the Hanger Straight, but seems to be all right so far. So it really is. I don't think anybody's worked out exactly what the best line is yet.
The cars are on track. It's round 6 of the Dunlop Endurance Championship, and this is how the top 10 line up for today's 2.5-hour race. Callum Lockie starts the FF Corsa Ferrari from pole, with Nigel Moore taking the first stint in the Tockwith Motorsports Audi. On row 2, pro driver Charlie Hollings and FF Corsa teammate Leighton Clark, with the Tyrannus of Johnny McGregor and the Porsche of Mark Cunningham on row 3. Here come the cars then, ready for the rolling start. To the left of your picture, the pole sitter Callum Lockie in the Ferrari. Alongside him, it's Nigel Moore, the championship leader for Tockwith Motorsports. Away they go. It's a good start as well from 5th on the grid for Johnny McGregor for a Mac G Racing. And around the outside of the race-leading Ferrari, look, goes the Audi into the lead. Callum Lockie down to 2nd. Then it's Johnny McGregor up to 3rd place, but Leighton Clark is about to get back past him in the Ferrari. There he is in the midnight blue Ferrari, back up to 3rd place. A good start for Mark Cunningham as well. We're missing missing from the start of the race one of the other Ferraris, Charlie Hollings in the FF Course machine, the number 5 car, having to start from the pit lane. So he's coming from the back. You've got his teammate, Anthony Wilds, coming from the back of the field as well. And this all means that, look, into Stowe Corner, the race leader is something like 3 seconds clear already. So here is a replay on board with Johnny McGregor, and a really good start. Watch this as he gets alongside Leighton Clark in the Ferrari, and look at the Audi, number 19, around the outside. He whips to get the lead of the race away from Callum Lockie and into first place. Perfect start then for Nigel Moore, and then the Ferrari comes back up the inside on the way into the right-hander at Village Corner as Leighton Clark snatches his place back. And looking back from Johnny McGregor, a very good start, look, for the Whitebridge Motorsports Aston Martin of Johnny Cocker. So here at the end of the first lap of the race, Nigel Moore into Abbey Corner is nearly 4 seconds clear already of Callum Lockie in second place. Leighton Clark there in third. A fantastic start for Johnny McGregor, runs in fourth place. Mark Cunningham has got himself back to fifth place, and looking to sixth place already from virtually the back of the field is Anthony Wilds in the number 9 Ferrari. On board then with Leighton Clark, and he is now coming back after Callum Lockie as the race leader continues to scarper up the road. So these two make their way through that very bumpy section at the link as they rejoin the Grand Prix circuit. We're using the international version of the circuit. It's 1.8 miles long and takes only about 65 seconds to get around. There is former Britcar champion Martin Byford, who is taking the lead drive in the Synchro Motorsport Honda and has made a couple of places up already. So he's doing a good job, as you'd expect from such a quick driver as Martin. And there is Anthony Wilds coming after now, the Class 2 Porsche of SG Racing and Mark Cunningham. But there is nobody in the wing mirrors, look, of the race leader. Nigel Moore has built a lead already of 5 seconds over the pole sitter. Callum Lockie and David Mason having a bad start to the year here at Silverstone when they went off at the first corner in rather different wet conditions. Here then is this Anthony Wilds car, the yellow and black FF Course Ferrari, the 458 Challenge car, closing up to the Porsche. But Mark Cunningham doing a really good job at keeping him at bay. They're both Class 2 cars, so it's an important battle that. As Leighton Clark now, look, he's beginning to fall away from Callum Lockie. So Callum's got the pedal to the metal here as we look once again at this battle for 5th place and battle for Class 2 honours as well. Mark Cunningham's Porsche up against the Ferrari, but the Ferrari draws alongside now as they come back out onto Anger Straight, and he goes through. So into 5th place. 6th place is the Porsche. 7th place still leading Class 3 is Johnny Cocker, the former British GT champion. Jacob Mattarson behind him, and then look, the red Ferrari, the red and white Ferrari of Charlie Hollings. He's about to blitz them as he makes his way down into Stowe Corner. He'll get 2 places, and from the back of the field he's absolutely charging is Charlie Hollings. And we've got a good battle going on here, look, between number 69, the Porsche of Adam Dawson, the Bespoke Cars team, and the Mike Moss Motorsport BMW, which has got David Cooper behind the wheel. Both entries having 3 drivers in this race. There's the race leader, Nigel Moore, but he's starting to come under pressure. He runs wide now, coming out on the Hanger Straight, because Callum Lockie is the fastest man on the track in the Ferrari. He's closing down the race leader, and that man is absolutely flying as well. Charlie Hollings, he's after now the 4th place, Johnny McGregor Taranis, having dispatched of Anthony Wilds and Mark Cunningham a couple of laps ago. So from the back of the field, here he comes down the inside, and Charlie Hollings gains another place from the back up to 4th place now for the FF Course Ferrari. Johnny McGregor, who carries the onboard camera, comes out of the link now down to 5th place, but still having a really good run here. So run wide and go back out onto the super long Hanger Straight. The Ferrari, look, is coming back under fire here a little bit from Johnny McGregor, who picks up the toe, has a look down the inside, but Charlie Hollings is far enough clear to be able to hang on to that 4th position as they break for the right-hander at Stowe Corner. There is Martin Byford, who in that Class 5 Honda, run by Synchro Motorsport, the Swindon-based team, been doing a great job of battling with some higher class cars so far in this race. And here, look, is the battle for the lead of the race. The Audi has been caught by the Ferrari. They're both coming up to lap the Hoffmans Henley Lotus, being driven by newcomer Ben Salmon, and they go down towards Vale Corner, and it's tight here. Down the inside goes Callum Lockie, late on the brakes, and he's through at Vale Corner. Through Club Corner there will go. Will we see the Ferrari first? We will. We've got a new race leader, the pole sitter back up front. Down to 2nd place go the championship leaders, and they start to carve their way already through the traffic here at Silverstone. So Callum Lockie, a little bit cautious maybe at the start of the race, but now absolutely flying. We've still got this battle going on between the Porsche and the BMW as well. These two have been tied together for about 10 laps now, so great ding-dong going on here between the Class 3 Porsche and the Class 4 BMW. There is the 5th place car of Johnny McGregor, the Tyrannus, and there is Anthony Wilds, another Ferrari, which has had to come from the back of the field after electrical problems put him out of practice, put him out of qualifying, and they didn't actually get into the car until the start of the race, and through he goes. The power of the Ferrari shines through, and that's up to 5th place now from the back of the field for Anthony Wilds. His dad Mike will take over for the second stint. There are 2 mandatory pit stops in the race. Once again, the Tyrannus picks up a tow here, but once again it's a Ferrari that is able to fend him off as we head for a break. Welcome back to Silverstone. It's round 6 of the Dunlop Endurance Championship, and there are our 2 leaders. Callum Lockie, having regained the lead, is in the Ferrari, and there in second place is Nigel Moore, the championship leader, looking for his 5th win of the season alongside teammate Phil Hanson. There is the Hoffman's Henley Lotus, which has had a pretty serious engine rebuild since Thruxton, but the car going well at the moment at the hands of Ben Salmon. Fabio Randaccio will take over for the second stint. You're on board with the 3rd place car. This is Leighton Clark in another of the FF Course Ferraris. There are 3 of them in the race so far, and he's coming up now to lap the Lotus, a multi-class structure of course in the Dunlop Endurance Championship, so you don't have to have the fastest car to be able to pick up points and trophies. There in the background though is another FF Course Ferrari. This one is Charlie Hollings, who has been for many years now a pro driver, done many 12-hour and 24-hour races, and he is coming after, started from the back of the field, his teammate. And then we've got also from the back of the field Anthony Wilds in the yellow Ferrari, and on board with 6th place Mac G Racing driver Johnny McGregor, who had a really good start to the race and he's holding his own out there at the moment. So that's the top 6. We're getting ready for the first round of pit stops. There is Mike Wilds, there is David Mason, 2 of the more senior drivers in the championship, both of them in the top 6 at the moment. So the drivers getting ready for the first round of mandatory pit stops. Here comes a heck of a tussle here. So the Ferrari leading the race, coming through the traffic, then the Audi in second place, but you've also got here the battle for 7th place. The black and yellow Porsche is Mark Cunningham. Then in 8th place and 9th place you've got the Aston Martin Johnny Cocker and the Century Motorsport Ginetta driven by Jacob Mathiasson, which is second in the championship at the moment. So a great scrap going on between those 3 drivers, as it has been for a number of laps now. Back on board with Johnny McGregor, and there's a spin just in front of him. I think Anthony Wilds just missed that as well, and that was the Lotus of Ben Salmon going around, but avoiding being collected. Great to see the WDC Racing BMW out for the first time this season. Rob Young out for the first stint of the race. And on board now with 3rd position, Leighton Clark, who makes his way to Val Corner, comes under attack from Charlie Hollings, who just dives down the inside, but was he too late on the brakes? No, he keeps it together. So fantastic driving from Charlie Hollings from the back of the field, essentially. Gets himself now up into 3rd place. Leighton Clark with the onboard camera is down to 4th position. We've got 3 FF Course Ferraris in the top 4 of the race. There they go, 3rd and 4th positions. The first of the front runners to make a stop have been Whitebridge Motorsport and former quad bike racing champion Chris Murphy, now behind the wheel, having taken over from Johnny Cocker.
It was a good little battle out there, wasn't it? You enjoyed in the first stint?
Yeah, it was excellent. Managed to jump the Ginetta and maybe one other car. I can't really. It was all a bit frenetic at the start, but that was good for us because the Ginetta's really quick on the race run, so that was good. But no, it was nice and tight, and working the way through traffic. Traffic was a good opportunity for me to really try and pull a bit of a gap. So I was, fairly kind of to the point through the traffic. But the car's running really nicely. Chris is doing a great job in the car now. Actually, this weekend he's made a big step forward, so that's excellent. It's good to see when somebody does that. And Chris has never raced before. The first time he stepped in the car was November last year. So he's come a long way.
On board with Leighton Clark, just ahead is the car that just overtook him, number 5 Charlie Hollings. They're both coming up to lap Chris Murphy in that Whitebridge Motorsport Aston Martin, doing a good job in the battle for Class 3 honours. So he gets out of the way as they make their way into the left-hander at Vale. This is where the position changed a few laps ago. Doing a good job of hanging on to Charlie Hollings is Leighton Clark. So these two nose to tail in the battle for 3rd place, getting right up to the tail of his sister Ferrari coming out of Club Corner is Leighton Clark, but he can't find a way through. They're still going well in it pits. Class in Class 3 is the WDC Racing BMW. Neil Garnham will take over. Matt Le Breton is going to be doing the third stint in that car. And on board now with Johnny McGregor, who is getting out of the way of the race leaders. So the front runners, the Ferrari and the Audi, have lapped most of the field now as we come towards the first round of pit stops, about 45 minutes into this 2.5-hour race. Mac G Racing will also be coming in fairly shortly, with Ben Sharridge getting his first taste of action behind the wheel of that car. The Porsche of Adam Dawson and the BMW of Davy Copper still enjoying a great battle for 10th place. Into the pits then comes Charlie Hollings after a fantastic drive. The former FIA GT racer is going to hand over to newcomer to racing Bonamy Grimes. There is the reigning champion David Mason, multiple champion in Britcar alongside Callum Lockie, waiting for the Scotsman to bring the Ferrari in. And here is the Audi from second place in. So Nigel Moore will hand over to Phil Hanson, his young teammate. Nigel will then get back in for the third shorter stint at the end of the race. And in comes the FF Course Ferrari of Anthony Wilds, who's also had a really good drive up through the field, considering they had no running whatsoever this morning. The team, which is based just outside Silverstone, getting that car fixed just in time for the start of the race after electrical problems. There is the Tyrannus, which has been battling with them inside the top 6. They get a longer pit stop due to the success that they've had so far in the championship, but Jacob Mathiasen and Steve Fressel will still be hunting down a Class 3 victory to get back ahead of the Whitebridge Motorsport Aston Martin. And back out goes the FF Course Ferrari. We can now hear from Anthony Wilds.
Every time we tried to start it, the blew the main fuse, so it just wouldn't fire up. And FF Course has spent the best part of the missed free practice, missed qualifying, and it came over here with about an hour to go before the race. So my first time sitting in the car was just to go out to join the grid. So it was a bit of fun, and soon got into a rhythm, but took me a while to get on the pace of the other two Ferraris in our class. But we're slowly getting back into it, so fingers crossed.
In then comes the race leader, Callum Lockie, has been out for an hour. He's built up around about a 1 minute lead to hand over to his teammate, David Mason. And out he gets. The FF Course team will put in some fuel into the car. Phil Hanson, though, is absolutely charging at the moment. And there's a spin, second of the race for the Hoffman's Lotus. Again, it avoids being collected. He'll keep the engine running, spin it around and get back into the race. But good to see that car still running after the various dramas that they've had mechanically. There, though, is a problem for the FF Course Ferrari number 5. A right rear puncture. So Bonamy Grimes, who's not been out for long, brings the car in. That could cost them a podium. And it's good news for their teammate, Simon Atkinson, in the number 4 Ferrari, who's coming up now to lap the Tyrannus, driven by Ben Sharridge, who's got smoke coming from the left rear corner, and the car goes into a spin. So he spins at Village. That's a slow part of the course, and I just wonder if that was maybe a mechanical problem rather than driver error, because we saw some smoke coming out of the back of the car. Here comes the Audi then. Phil Hanson has lapped Simon Atkinson, so that is second lapping third, and he's flying after the Ferraris, only about 10 seconds behind now, 6 seconds a lap quicker than David Mason. And in comes the Porsche SG Racing Peter Cunningham with a rather damaged front end of the car. Well, huge disappointment for Mac G Racing. Let's find out exactly what happened with Ben Sharridge.
Yeah, I was going through turn 3 over there at Village. Midway round the bend, just heard an almighty bang. Next thing you know, I'm rotating backwards off the track, try and pull off to get going, but no drive, so I don't know what on earth's happened. Have to get out of the car when the marshals tell me to do so. They tell me that the wheel's missing, which I thought was a bit strange, but then I look round and find something's gone wrong with the tyre, and the disc has come through the tyre, so the wheel's halfway inside the bodywork. So what on earth you can say to that, I don't know.
And it's not the sort of circuit really where there are a lot of curbs for you to hit in terms of causing that damage, really, is it?
Not really, no. I was keeping off the curbs, keeping a nice wide berth to them, just trying to keep a nice steady pace up. So that was the bit that baffled me. It wasn't, something that I felt I maybe had under my control. But there we go. That's motor racing.
On board with Simon Atkinson, he's a lap down in third place, and just ahead the two leaders are now together. The Audi has got alongside the Ferrari and has gone through, look. So coming out of the link, the Audi from Tockwith Motorsports back into first place. Phil Hanson on board, David Mason in second place now, and you're on board with the third place car, but it's a lap down, and he waves in the mirrors because Mike Wells has come down the inside, his teammate. That's not for position, but Mike Wells has now got a lap back. He was just unlapped himself, and he's back on the same lap as Simon Atkinson. They could still get a podium finish out of this, the Snetterton race winners. Mike Wilds is now going to get a lap back on the red Ferrari of David Mason. Hope they don't mind me saying, but their combined age is over 140 years old, those two, and it's great to see them still so competitive. 3 Ferraris together. It's an Audi that leads the race, and in the pits with a problem with damage, we saw the SG Racing Porsche. Let's find out exactly what happened with Peter Cunningham.
I was coming up to a slower class car, which was the Lotus Europa. I thought he'd seen me coming down into the S's, coming up to the wing straight, and went up fully up the inside. He obviously hadn't seen me, which, you know, is hard called sometimes. And he started shutting down. I wasn't going to touch him, so I just went tighter and tighter. Rear wheel caught the inner curb, harmless, spammed me around, 360, no contact, no damage. The yellow's out, obviously. 3 cars went round me perfectly fine. A Honda came round on the inside of the track where I was, off the racing line, and just drove straight, square on, into me, and broke the front of both of our cars off.
Lots of damage as well, of course, to the Synchro Motorsport Honda of Dan Ludlow and Martin Byford, both of them effectively out of the race. And back on track, there has been drama because the number 43 championship contender, the Century Motorsport Ginetta, out with a broken prop shaft after Jacob Mathiasen had got in for his second stint. So the championship frontrunners in strife. That, of course, is great news for this team, Tockwith Motorsports, their nearest rivals for the 2016 championship title. They lead the race. Callum Lockie is 4th now, and he is the fastest man on track. He's doing his best to catch the top 3, but he's probably going to run out of time. But he's just set 4 fastest laps on the trot, has Callum Lockie, on board with Leighton Clark, who is trying to hang on to second place in this race, going into Vale, but he's coming under fire from Anthony Wilds, who's gone back out for his second stint in the sister Ferrari. They're side by side here, coming out over the start-finish line, just a few laps to go in the race, and the inside line is going to be with the yellow Ferrari. Wilds down the inside, and right at the end of the race, he gets into second place. Leighton Clark down to 3rd position here, still though with a couple of laps maybe to pick up a toe and get the position back, both of them having taken advantage of this problem with a fuel starvation problem for the other Ferrari, the number 5 car, but it's enough laps clear that it will still hang on to its 5th place from the Porsche of Bespoke Cars Racing. Here then is Nigel Moore. He's going to bring the car home, and for the 5th time this year, it is a race victory for Tockwith Motorsports. They go to the top of the championship standings. An excellent class win for the Wildses in 2nd place. For Class 3, it's Fothergill, Bennett and Dawson in the Porsche. Class 4 won by Moss, Cooper and Bird in the BMW.
We didn't have a great start to the race today, but managed to sort it out. And Phil, who's coming on very well, did an amazing stint in the middle. No, it's been a really good day for us today.
Yeah, no, we came into the start of the year with open eyes and weren't expecting anything, but still going to give it our all, and came away with a win here, which is pretty good. I think a lot of it's due to the pairing and just the chemistry in the team. Everyone gets on really well, and I think that goes a lot towards what we achieve on track.
As a result of that late race retirement for Mathiasen and Fressel, they're now 30 points behind Hansen and Moore in the championship, and only 3 clear of Whitebridge Motorsport in 3rd place. That just about wraps up our coverage from Silverstone. Hope you've enjoyed it. It's certainly been incident-packed, plenty of action, but once again, it is Tockwith Motorsports who've come out as our race winners. Until next time, bye for now.